welcome back to another episode of TV and Us, a conversation show about the TV series we just can't stop talking about. My name is Jennifer Hahn.
And I'm Sarah Cowan.
And each season, we focus on a different show, reviewing it episode by episode, and we invite you to watch along with us. Right now, we are reviewing Succession Season 4, and today we are on Episode 5, Kill List. If you haven't watched it yet, this is your spoiler alert. Please check it out before continuing to listen to the rest of this episode. Okay, Sarah, let's start off with a quick IMDb summary for Episode 5.
After the Waystar team heads to Norway, Shiv, Kendall, and Roman consider whether to fight for Logan's crown jewel.
Yes, we are not in New York City anymore. We're going on a little trip.
Definitely not. Yes.
Which, just the whole backdrop of this entire episode, by the way, is just beautiful. Just absolutely
gorgeous.
Beautiful.
I need more shows and movies to film in Norway. Like, my God, that was stunning.
Yes. It's your perfect weather, too.
It really is. I was so happy. I was like, I need to be on this retreat. Like, I don't really want to live in this world with these people. I just want to be there because it's ideal, gloomy weather. Oh, I was so happy.
Find a little corner to hole up in with some floor-to-ceiling windows that's like perched in a gravity-defying little ledge jutting out over the lake. Like, okay.
Yeah. Like when Kendall and Roman were complaining about their tiny rooms, I was like, shoot, I'll take it. Like, let them upgrade you and I will happily inhabit that little tiny room of yours.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So they go on a little adventure. Okay, let's start off with our versions of the episode titles for Episode 5. What would you name this episode?
I would name this CE Bros.
Nice. Well played. I love it.
Thank you.
That was a good one. My choice for episode title is in Roman's voice. It's a negotiating tactic.
Yes. So good.
Lots of those happening this episode.
Oh, so many of them.
All right. So here we are in Episode 5 at the halfway point of this season. And does it feel like we're halfway through this final season of Succession?
No, it doesn't. I feel like we have so many more, like power moves and backstabbing moments and alliances to happen. And how are they going to do this in just 5 episodes?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. But as this episode wrapped up, I had this thought where I was like, man, it feels like so much happens in this episode, and yet there's still so much brimming beneath the surface that I can just feel it waiting to get unleashed. Like, in a lot of ways, this still feels like yet another setup, foundational episode that is going to build on for the rest of the season. But I'm like, man, y'all, we got 5 episodes left to tell the rest of this story, and there's so much story to tell. So yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it in the next 5 episodes, but somehow they're going to make it happen.
Yeah, I'm ready, and you can see these like little explosions happen throughout, but I'm ready for some stuff to really blow fireworks up because we are primed for it. But I do love how smart these writers are, because we had this incredibly shocking, explosive episode with Logan's death, and so then episode 4 and this episode are both things happen and there's drama happening, but it's more low key, and it's again, like we talked about last time, like it's establishing things, it's letting us know what these characters are thinking and feeling, because we knew how they felt in the immediate aftershock, but now it's been a couple of days. How are they processing through things now? What alliances are forming? What's kind of going on? So it's that, like, we're still getting our footing before they blow us away again. And so I'm excited for whatever it is they're cooking up.
Yes. Yes. The level of restraint that the writers of the show have to not give us drama after drama after drama, episode after episode, is incredibly wise. We've often compared Succession to just like a piece of music, like everything is working together and all of the different voices of these different sections are working together so beautifully. And part of that is the pacing too. Like I was expecting, or I was craving, maybe not expecting, I was craving just more juicy things to happen. And we get a little bit, but I'm like, my hunger is still here. It's waiting to be satisfied. And we just have to wait for the next episode to see more of this drama unfold. But this episode definitely left me wanting more fireworks. But I'm glad it didn't give
Absolutely.
it to me.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is exercising delayed gratification.
Mhm.
That is what they're doing to us right now.
Yeah.
And it's, dragging it out so that when we finally do get these explosive moments, we
Mhm.
are emotionally primed for it, and like the
Yes. Very
stage
true.
is set appropriately for that. And
Mhm.
I so appreciate, even though like you, I wanted more fireworks, I wanted more dramatic crazy things to happen. I'm
Yeah.
so glad that it didn't. I think that that was so smart for them to do, because
Mhm.
it would have been too early.
Mhm. Yes. Yes. And I think this episode, at least this final season, definitely leaning into like I think they're giving us more quality moments instead of quantity. And I think a lot of
Hmm.
other shows will give us more of that quantity, like big dramatic twists and turns, but we get a lot of them episode by episode. So they really go for the like fireworks finale of like just a constant bombardment of fireworks that you often see at the end of a fireworks show, right? Like every episode some new development happens, some big betrayal happens that sets up the next one. And this one, I think, is going for more of a refined and elegant way to give us the drama by creating tension, making us wait. And we might get less of these turns along the way, maybe not. Maybe they all just come crashing to us at the end, but they're earned. They feel good when they happen, but we gotta wait for them. I'm like the kid in the
Hmm.
study that's like has the marshmallow in front of them, and I'm just like, I want it now.
But if you don't eat it now, then you will get two later.
Exactly,
So
exactly. Yep, yep. Okay, what stood out to you in this episode?
I am a big fan of Matson. Like I I remember enjoying his character when he was first introduced, just because he
Mm,
was such a wild card. I was like, "Oh, this is a very interesting personality to throw into this already interesting mix." But the way that Matson is just manipulating everything, I'm like, whoa. I feel like he is playing three-dimensional chess while some other people are playing tic-tac-toe, some people are playing checkers, some
mhm,
people are playing like Halo, I don't know. But like everybody is playing a different game, and I feel like Matson is just like, now is my time to shine cuz Logan is gone. So let me just do this. That was just so fun to watch him
yeah.
controlling so many things that were happening. It was like Logan was still here, but it was a different character, which
Mm,
I didn't see that coming, and that was just a
mhm.
joy.
Yeah, because he comes in little bits and pieces, in previous episodes. He's like a phone call here
Mhm.
and there,
Yeah.
but we get to see him work this episode. And what's really fascinating is the way that he, like Logan, also fundamentally understands human beings and will use these emotional situations against them. The fact that he's so unwilling to move this meeting and is he's really capitalizing on the fragility of these three siblings right now,
Mhm.
which is so terrible, but incredibly devious and incredibly cunning. Like they are in such a
Mhm.
fragile state. And in every conversation, he is pushing their buttons, and you can see them crack under the weight of all of that. He has them in the palm of his hands, but he's really capitalizing on this emotionally charged moment in their lives to push through his deal. And that is just so savage, but so sneaky.
And I love that so much of the show has been about which of these three kids is going to take Logan's place. Who can replace him? And all three of them at times have tried to mold themselves after Logan, and none of them, it doesn't work for any of the three because they're not Logan, and that's okay. They have different skill sets. We've already talked about that over and over and over again. But it was fascinating to watch another character who is of the mold of Logan. He is a younger version of Logan, so he does things differently, but it's that same ruthlessness that some of the kids you see glimpses of in them, but not to the same extent. And so I think even that was an interesting strategic choice for this show to have a non-heir be maybe the most Logan out of all of the other remaining characters.
That's really interesting. And is potentially buying the Logan empire. And so when
Mm-hmm.
we think about this idea of who will succeed Logan, perhaps it's him, you know, like perhaps that is the answer. It's not going to be because it's going to be a little bit too obvious.
No.
But you know,
Yeah.
like that is a dimension that I hadn't thought about at all. Um, I've always thought internally in the family, okay, then we expanded out to okay, the other crew in the C-suite. And now it's like, huh, here's this character. I think especially the proposal from Matson to include ATN, which truly is like a
Mm-hmm.
full seceding of the entire empire over to him. Um, I think that's what kind of like portrays it as. Here is the successor of the entire Logan empire. There's nothing for the kid. Like they truly are just gonna buy out and walk away and leave the whole Pierce situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's this almost this like interesting expansion of the world, because when when Logan died, we talked about how we had always thought it would be one of the three kids to take over, but our world was expanded a little bit to
Yeah,
include
yeah.
Jerry and them. But now it's potentially expanding even further to include
Mm-hmm.
an outside person like Matson. And so,
Mm-hmm.
again, like using their time and using these episodes so strategically to get us thinking differently, to prepare us for whatever is going to happen next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true. Very true. And I think the other really great thing that they've leveraged through this Matson character is that we've talked about how whoever, if there is a single person that does succeed Logan in the end of this, the final episode, episode 10 concludes and there is a new leader of this organization, it has to feel like they've earned it. And through Matson, we now are raising up like a worthy foe for them to outsmart, for them
Mm-hmm.
to prove that they were worthy of the thing that they earned, which is very smart. You know, like and we talked about that in terms of the infighting, like which one of them can outsmart each other to take the the crown. But it's also now this other third party who also is part of uh the foes at play where they have overcome and have earned whatever title they get at the end. Um, and so here's another, you know, it's like you're playing a video game, like there's another big boss for you to have to fight in order to win at the end of the game and feel like you really earned it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the big boss kicked the bucket, so now we have a stand-in big boss for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The ghost of Logan
Yeah,
lives on through Matson.
it's so true.
It's a really
Yeah.
interesting point that you made about that connection, but the similarities between the two of them.
And I
Yeah.
I do love that point that you just made about them having to earn it. I think especially because they're the kids. So it's like, okay, are you actually going to be able to do this? Are you going to be able to take on a worthy challenger? Um, or have you just kind of floated through because you have the right last name? So this is a really good litmus test to see, okay, what are you guys made of? Let's see you have an all-out battle here.
Yeah, yeah. 'cause I think that would be the least satisfying way for this to end, is that someone does succeed the throne,
Mhm.
but they feel incompetent to us. They feel
Yes.
unworthy of that, and the
Yeah.
show cuts off there. That would be the worst ending. It almost is better for them to go the route of no one succeeds the throne. It all gets,
Mhm.
carted off or divvied up or whatever it is, than for someone unworthy to take it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I
Mm,
it's also one of those, like, filling Logan's shoes, like,
yeah.
wow,
I don't know how
them
they're gonna write
them
this.
some big shoes to fill.
Yeah. It's gonna be so exciting to see how they end this because they've really
Yes.
written themselves into an interesting spot.
Yeah, I'm so excited because I mean, the world is their oyster, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
they could do so many things, and and I don't know, I can imagine so many different directions they go with the pieces on the board that I see, and I know that
Yeah.
there's so much that I don't see, and
Mhm.
so what a what a wild spot to be in this final season of the show.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was thinking that by episode 5, we would have a sense of, "Ooh, where is this kind of going?" And I have still no idea. Like, each episode that unfolds since the big explosion that was dropped with Logan's death, we're moving forward, but the fog is still there and where we're going, which is so fun and so juicy, but I'm intrigued to see if we'll be able to see a trajectory unfold in the next episode or not. Maybe not.
And also, like, what a smart choice because our three main protagonists that we're following, the three kids, they're also in that fog. And
Yeah.
so it's kind of cool that we don't have more information than they do. We are
Mm,
just as confused, just as unsure of what's going to happen next. Sure, we know, some of the conversations that Kendall and Roman are having that Shiv doesn't know about, and we can see what Shiv is doing, but like we don't have a big picture and they don't
not at
either.
all.
And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of a cool way to have us in the trenches with these characters just as lost as they are.
Mhm. Yeah. We have like only a slight uh advantage in information that we've gathered. That's it.
Mhm.
A co-
Yeah.
per episode, it's like a conversation or two more than the rest of the characters know about. That's about it.
Yeah, which
We
is
don't see this big
wild.
plot forming from
Yeah.
the C-suite, that's gonna unfold and that bomb's gonna drop. So, no, we don't see any of I don't know what they're doing.
Yep. So we have to wait and be just as surprised as they are when it happens.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's talk about some of the character moments. Some really interesting foil character moments happening between Kendall and Roman. Thoughts on the way that this episode handled both of their reactions and decisions?
Oh man, do you just want to talk about Roman for a minute? Because there is a moment where Roman shines in this. And I was like, oh, yes. When he pops off at Matson, that was so good. And I want to see him absolutely explode.
Oh,
I was like,
interesting. Wait,
this is fascinating.
I read that as a tragedy for Roman.
Oh, yeah. No,
Okay,
it was
okay.
horrible for him. But I was like,
Yes.
oh, I want to
Yes.
see more of this, please. Because
No,
it was
I don't
so
want you wishing for my favorite
interesting.
character to implode, please.
Yes. I want good things for
No.
Roman. I really genuinely do. But he had been bottling so many things up.
I
And I'm like,
know.
Roman,
He
you
really
gotta deal with some stuff, buddy. This is not the time to do it. But okay, here we go.
That moment was so beautifully set up
Oh,
from
yes.
like 2 episodes ago with the way that each of the 3 siblings are handling Logan's death, and the beginning of the last episode, you see Shiv mourning, you see Kendall mourning and grieving, And Roman's just brushing his little teeth, getting ready for the day. He claims to his siblings that he has pre-grieved this, and
Mhm.
you see the way that that was a setup for this exact moment, this total blunder. R.I.P. the rise of Roman. We have not risen. But there is another moment that I loved, which is this
Mhm.
close-up shot at the very beginning of the episode where they're on the plane, and he sees the interaction between Hugo and Kendall, and it's this close-up shot of just his eyes, observing and taking it all in, and he's clever enough, and I hope observant enough to smell something fishy going on there, and I'm just waiting for that to set up something that's gonna happen that's gonna be great later on. That is the Roman that I wanna
Mhm.
see.
Oh, yeah. Roman knows what's up.
Mhm.
And we're only on episode 5. So maybe this is the low point,
For
and then we will see the rise of Roman.
I
There's
love
still
your
hope.
hope.
There
I
is
love
still
your
hope. We
hope.
have 5 whole episodes left. A lot can happen in the show in 5
This is
episodes.
true. This is true. Yeah. Yes. Okay, meanwhile, we have the ego balloon of Kendall just getting larger and larger. So much
Mhm.
air is getting pumped into that thing.
So much air. So much. But I am so fascinated by Kendall, honestly,
Tell me more.
because there is this ego and this arrogance that he has. But I also think that there's so much um, uncertainty and doubt in him as well. Like
Yeah.
he doubts his own ability to lead. And so it's this really interesting like push and pull that I think you
Yeah.
see from him. And
Mhm.
he'll make this like really like big decision, but you can also feel this like
Yes.
hesitation of like, is this right? And
Mhm.
I'm fascinated to see which part of Kendall really like wins out in the end, and
Mhm.
what he does, cuz I don't know, that internal tension that he has is fascinating to me.
Mm. And so human too. Like
Oh, yes.
so much of what he does is overcompensating for that innate insecurity that he feels. All of the big pompous gestures and the big statements, and when he puffs his chest to be real big, it's all this overcompensation to cover up the fact that he doubts himself. He's insecure. He feels like he's not sure if what he's doing is he worthy or not. The fundamental question that he's such a tortured character. I think one of
Mhm.
the most tortured characters on the show.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I
Yeah.
I I think that that first meeting with Matson and Kendall and Roman was super interesting as well, cuz
Mm.
the the episode starts with Kendall, in a car playing rap music, hyping himself up, calling back to a previous
Yes.
episode early in the
Episode 1, I
series.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then we're transported just a little while later to the moment when he is the guy in the room making the decision.
Yeah.
And you see like such reservation from him. And like as
Mhm.
Matson is talking, he's just like absorbing it all like a sponge, but then he doesn't know how to react.
Mhm.
And I loved watching the 3 of them try and like figure each other out, and especially Kendall and Roman trying to figure
Yes.
out how they work together, but also how do they respond to Matson when they are the ones making the decision. Even though they had a game plan going in, how do they respond to these curveballs that they're being thrown? And that was just so
Mhm.
cool to watch them process all of that in that meeting.
Mhm. Yep. Yep, through facial expressions, gestures, like,
Mhm.
the everything they say is so cryptic and, uh, meaning laden. But what's also delicious is just to see the way that Matson is just eating it up. Like, he
Oh,
sees
yeah.
them squirm, and he loves every bit of it. It's so juicy.
So fun. It was a
Love it.
great time.
Mhm. Yep, yep. Okay. Yeah, girl Shiv,
Oh, my
she's making moves.
girl.
She's making moves.
Yes. Make those moves, Shiv. Oh, I am so here for this. I am here for a Shiv Matsson alliance. Yes. I want it. I want more of it. This is amazing.
The question is who will drop who first, which is so fun.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know?
Because
This
it
is
could go either
purely
way.
yeah. Their interests are aligned now, but who will quickly see that it's no longer serving them and drop the other? That will be exciting to see.
Yeah. I'm very curious about that partnership and where that's
Mhm.
going. Because
Mhm.
in in the last episode we talked about, ooh, what new alliances are going to form,
Yeah.
and we were all excited about what was next. I never would have called Shiv and Matson
No.
together. And I'm
No.
like,
Me
but
neither.
this makes all the sense in the world. This is
Mhm.
brilliant.
Mhm. Yeah. And it's a great payoff of episode 1 of this entire season where we see Shiv really
Hmm.
leading on the Pierce deal. And so she's okay with, let's just sell ATN, get it out of there. She also wants to screw Tom over too, so that's, 2 for 1, and let's go lead this other thing. Like it's all both the emotional story arc for Shiv and uh the the career and political focused story arc for her are aligned in this partnership, which is just the pieces have like come together now, and that's satisfying to see. These disparate pieces too have come together in this one moment, this one alliance.
Hmm. And you get to see a little Logan in Shiv too, with regards to Tom. Because
Yeah.
at the end, when she's like, "Hey, will you fire Sid? Oh, hey, do you want to have dinner?" Like, that's such a Logan thing to do.
Yeah.
It was so like, wow. I was like, okay, I see you, Shiv. I see you.
Is
You're
this what
making
you
some
want for
moves.
her as a character?
I want her
I
to
feel
be with
conflicted.
not Tom.
Okay, yes.
So I'm like,
Agreed.
that's fine. If you can use Tom, because he's just trying to use everybody else. So if you can beat him at his own stupid game, I'm here for it. I want Shiv to come up out on top.
She's a phoenix rising from the ashes from the last episode for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Uh, so it'll be interesting to see her continual rise and if or when she will fall
Yeah,
and by
there
whom.
has to be a fall.
There's got to be. We're too
we're
early in the season.
we're only on episode 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How juicy was that Tom scene?
Tom. Jesus.
What do you think
I
about the state of France? Um, what do you mean?
He is such an idiot. I had my blanket pulled up just below my eyes because I wanted to cover myself in my blanket because I couldn't handle Tom's incompetence. And then stupid Greg comes in
So
and
good.
makes it worse because
So
he's even
good.
a bigger idiot. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I am just cringing as hard as I can cringe because you're idiots.
Yeah, but
They're
so
the worst.
satisfying to watch. Tom has truly become the other characters' punching bags and now the show's official punching bag. I am intrigued though.
Mhm.
I think that there's more that they're going to use Tom. I'm just intrigued to see how there's some piece he's going to play in all this, especially with the Shiv arc. So, we'll see.
Mhm. And it's fascinating to watch kind of his desperation grow
Yeah.
the in these last
Mhm.
2 episodes cuz again at first he was just trying to work, the Jerry, Tom, Carl, or Jerry, Frank, and Carl. Um but now like you see him working Madsen's crew
Mhm.
too and trying to get in good with them. So it's like, wow, your desperation knows no bounds.
Mhm.
It was painful to watch, but
Yeah.
I do agree. I think that there's more for Tom because even though I think he is an absolute idiot, uh, he has fallen into important roles in the past, and I think we're going to see him fall into something important in the remaining 5 episodes.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. If not in some sort of collaboration, then some decision he makes out of that desperation that you're talking about will have a deciding impact on some other character's rise and fall. Um, it'll shake up the game board somehow.
Mhm.
Mm,
Yeah. And I think also, like, the firing of Sid too, because
yeah,
then presumably, like, then that's Tom's whole show, right?
yep.
So maybe we'll see a little bit more into ATN in the coming episodes and kind of see what Tom does with that, because it seems like that's where some of these other plot lines are going to intersect,
Yep.
because Shiv talks about the journalistic integrity piece a little bit here. We know that Connor is running for office, stuff with the election is happening, and then this deal where they're wanting to fold in ATN. So it seems like ATN is where a bunch of these different things are going to converge and
Mhm.
might be in a really important plot piece going forward.
Mhm. Yeah. And
And then,
ATN being
yeah,
Logan's pride and joy, his
yeah.
legacy, where he got his start, the emotional
Mhm.
ties that characters have to that, specifically Roman. Can't let it go.
Yeah. Yep. So if
Like
Tom is
there's so much
leading that,
symbolism in ATN. Yeah, it's
yeah,
loaded. It's a
yeah.
loaded bomb ready to go off.
Yes, and we are ready for the explosion when
We
it comes.
are. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, any other thoughts about plot lines in episode 5 before we pivot to TVS awards?
I don't think so. I think those were the main things.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Uh, just one little thing. I just
Mhm.
love that they're calling the C-suite because we've struggled to figure out what to name the little
We
crew
have.
of Carl, Frank, and Jerry, and then by extension Hugo and Carolina. And I love that they call them the Grays or
Yes.
the Suits.
It's so good.
It's so good. So now we have some names to work with. It's very good.
Mhm. That was very helpful. The show was helping us out because
They
they
heard us,
knew that
yeah.
we were struggling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do our TVNS awards. Let's give out some accolades, starting with best insult.
Uh, so I had narrowed it down to two. Both of them were delivered by Matson,
Of course. Good,
of
good.
course.
Yes.
But the one that I am choosing is, I would like to buy your entire operation for the price of one single dollar.
That was glorious. Just and the shot of Jeremy Strong's face,
So good. And
just screwing with him.
I love that one so much because not only is he insulting Kendall and Roman, but he's also insulting Logan and the entire empire that Logan built,
Mm-hmm.
all in one little tiny sentence. It
Mm-hmm.
just masterful.
Well, and what's also great about that is that he immediately detects their nerves
Yes.
and the feeling of importance that they've put onto this one meeting, you know?
Mhm.
And he's really rattling them. He's
Yeah.
really shaking them up to get them off kilter so that he can then work his magic on them. It's genius. That was great. My choice is also delivered by Matson. I think I like audibly gasped when he was like, "Yeah, well, I don't care what you think. You're a tribute band."
Yes, that was my other one.
That was your second one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good.
It's in line with Logan's "You're not serious people" because these kids all they want to be is worthy of all the greatness that their father had, and the biggest thing that he can attack is that they're a fraud.
Mhm.
Yikes!
And just, again, like that similarity to Logan, to be able to
Mm,
see this is
yeah,
the thing that is
I
going to
want most.
destroy you, and in one sentence,
Yeah.
I can
Mm.
absolutely hit that target.
That
Insane.
comparison between Matson and Logan is really, really well perceived. So great job on that one.
I can spot Logans.
Yes. The ghosts of Logan running rampant.
Yeah, man. They're
Hopefully,
everywhere.
they're not running rampant. We just isolate them to one human, please. Let's not have that spread.
That's right, that's right. It's too much power, you know?
Yes.
We can't have too many of them all at one time.
Okay, who won the episode? What's your choice?
I'm gonna go with Matson because he played
Mm.
everybody like a fiddle,
He really did. He
and
really did.
I think that's great.
Working every angle. My choice is his collaborator, Shiv.
Nice. Yep.
Yeah, she figures out a way to weasel her out of this like unfavorable position that she was in at the end of the last
Mhm.
episode. So
Absolutely.
good
Yeah,
on
she
her.
did great.
Mm-hmm. She's like, I will not get screwed over by my two brothers, taking power back into her own hands.
Absolutely. You go, girl.
Mm-hmm. Okay, best power move.
In keeping with the theme, it is Matson holding this meeting when he does and getting literally everyone onto his turf.
Yes, yes. He even has the suits on his side.
Yes.
They want this to go through, you know? Like, he's got the board on his side, he's got everyone on his side, except for the kids.
Yep.
Well, except for the two kids.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty
We'll see
impressive.
how he wheels his way. Yep, yep. My choice for best power move is Carl and Frank putting on their compression socks.
Oh, yes. So good.
Gotta protect yourself against the fate
It's
of
true.
Logan.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah. Don't want to go the
I
same
love
way
that
that
little moment.
Logan did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. And let's wrap up with what we want to see next. Looking ahead, we're at the halfway point. Where do you think this is going next, or what do you want to see?
Uh like I said earlier, I want to see more of Shiv and Matson and their
Mm-hmm.
alliance. I think that's going to be fascinating.
And to see it
Uh,
crumble.
yeah, I I'm so excited. That is just such a dynamic pair.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be fascinating whatever they
Yep.
do with that. Um, and then I you're going to be so upset with me, but I do want to see Roman lose it a little bit more.
Okay, as
Like,
long as he rises from the
yes,
ashes in time for the
yes,
ball at the end in
that
episode
is
10, whatever
absolutely what I want.
finale.
So I would like to see him go a little bit deeper. I want to see him go down a little bit further and then Rise of Roman.
Uh, it's so endearing, his little blow up as well. You know,
And it was just
just it's so
it was
human.
yes, and it was
We
so
all are
well
him.
yeah, it was so well delivered, so well written. Like I want to see more because that was such just a captivating piece of this
Performance, yeah.
episode.
Yeah, it really, it really was. It's a negotiating tactic. Like,
Oh, buddy.
even in his blow up, though, he's thinking about repercussions. He's
Mhm.
thinking about how his angle. He's like, well, okay, well, this was not good. How do I weasel my way out of this? You know, I'm going to tell the board it was a negotiating tactic. Okay, buddy.
Mhm. Yeah.
What are you
Brilliant.
thinking there?
Yeah.
Good job, buddy. I am intrigued to see how this constantly talked about election is going to come to fruition and impact
Mm.
everyone's decisions
Mhm.
pretty soon. They've been building the momentum around this for so long, honestly, since probably last season with Connor choosing to run and that whole episode where they're choosing candidates and the tie to ATN. And there just feels like this is such a um, big choice. And I'm intrigued to see how that shakes things up or at least creates forcing functions for um, certain collaborations or crumbling to happen. So I think that's going to be a really great plot device to push the drama forward. So I'm intrigued to see about that. And, I'm still waiting for the suits to make some moves. They've got to be
Mhm.
plotting something. Maybe not. I don't know. Are they really just trying to cash out? I
I
think it'd be
wouldn't
fun to
think
see them.
so. I don't know. I like to think that they're devious enough to be almost like biding their time. Like,
Yeah.
let's conserve our energy. Let's survey the field. Let's let these young ones destroy each other or at least wear each other out.
Yeah.
And then we can come in and save the day, basically.
Yes.
That's what I hope
Yes.
happens.
Yeah. Uh, I think this show would be more interesting if they paint them and ultimately reveal that they were just as strategic as the kids. Right now, especially this episode, I think they're portrayed more as just like um outcome driven, like let's take our money and get out of here and
Mhm.
just run with it. But that feels a little bit obvious. It also lowballs their abilities. So I hope to see them make some moves coming up. They might be just saving that. That's what I'm hoping for. The show is saving
Mhm.
all of their moves for later. The
Yeah.
reason that I have hope that they are going to make some moves is because we get that few moments in episode 4 at the beginning where they're all trying to throw their hat in the ring. Um, and ultimately Kendall and Roman arise victorious from that battle, but they're thinking with those hats on. So I'm sure they've considered their moves on
Mhm.
that front.
And I mean, you don't get to like the rank of
Mm-hmm.
CFO, all of those C-suite levels without having ambition,
Yep.
and without having like a certain level of cunning in this world, ruthlessness. So I think that they do have all of these characteristics, and to be able to work so closely with Logan for so long,
Yes.
like I don't think that he would keep them around if they didn't have those characteristics.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that the show is just kind of holding them back till the right time, and then we can see them make some moves.
Make some moves.
We're
Yeah.
ready.
Because they're portrayed right now as just being focused on the money. And that if they were if that was their intention, they would have cashed out like a long time ago,
Hmm.
Walking
Yeah.
around, go to your island that I think Carl's planning to buy. Um, so they're not here for that. Here for the power.
There's something that's keeping them there. So
Yes.
we will
Yes.
see, maybe, possibly, hopefully, what that is.
Yes. I think that'll be juicy. I want all of these side characters to get thrown in and stir things up. That's what I want to see.
Hmm. Yep. Yep. And there's still more from Willa and Connor. Who knows what
Mm,
waves Marsha is going to make or Carrie is going to make. So
right.
we have
Right.
a lot of characters.
Yeah.
Uh, and who knows what they'll do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Any other last thoughts about episode 5 before we wrap up?
I would just like to acknowledge that Shiv pretending to drink alcohol was very
Yeah.
satisfying to watch.
Yeah. And also we never see her actually take the cocaine
Yeah.
either.
Yep.
So well played, girl.
It was
She knows how to
so
survive.
good.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, way to
Mm-hmm.
go. Way to
That's true.
play
I
the
actually
game.
forgot about that. Like, what are they gonna do with Shiv's arc that they've
Hmm.
set up? They don't
Yes.
address it at all. They kind of leave it alone
Yep.
this episode,
Yep. So we'll see
which means it's gonna boomerang back to us real soon.
at some point.
Yes. All right. Well, this was our review and discussion of episode 5. You can find it available on HBO Max. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of TV and Us. Our name sums it up. We are big fans of TV and the powerful ways we can connect with each other and the world around us. This podcast is about all of us and our shared stories. Everyone is welcome here, and we're so glad you hung out with us today as we continued our journey through Succession Season 4. You can subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you tune into your favorite shows. Drop us a review letting us know your thoughts about Episode 5. You can connect with us on Instagram and Twitter at tvnspod, or you can email us at tvnspod@gmail.com. We will be back in actually 2 weeks with both Episode 6 and 7. I'm going on a little family trip, so we will miss next week, but we will be back with a double back-to-back episode released for Episodes 6 and 7 in 2 weeks. We hope you have an amazing week, and